Okay, hi. So I've gotten a lot of questions about how I use the magnetic 8-in-1 frames from BAi, or they're also called fast frames. I've seen, but as far as like I can tell, when I look up fast frames, it's just this part without the magnet. So I think this is special for BAi, but I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, so I think with fast frames, a lot of people use that adhesive stabilizer. I don't. What I do is, and this is what I do, like I hardly ever use my green hoops. Most of the time I just use these magnetic frames. So what I do is I cut my stabilizer to size, I'll place it on, and I use painter's tape. And I reuse a lot of painter's tape too, because just to save money or whatever, I just use it until it's not sticky anymore. So I tape it on. And I believe with this size, if I'm doing a large design that really covers like a lot of the frame, this is just the back so I can show you the frame. I actually put it in upside down. So like with these, for this design, I'm gonna do it the right way, but this part goes down. So it's closer to your bobbin spot, if that makes sense. Otherwise, you do it this way, and there's a lot of bouncing, but I do it this way sometimes because it does just raise it up a bit. Otherwise, when this moves around on the machine, it'll hit, if your design's too big, it'll hit these. It'll hit the frame, and then the whole thing will be like off register and cause you lots of problems. So you can just do whatever you want. It's only this size, and the longer ones, the skinnier, longer ones, which I don't typically use very often. But the ones that are smaller than this they're wonderful. You can do them the right way, and I've never had a problem with them. So anyway, so I tape it on. And sometimes you can use like just 2 pieces of tape and it's fine. But, and I guess with the magnet, this is not a necessary step, but I find it necessary because it just makes things easier for me. So I tape it on. That way I can use any stabilizer that I already have. I don't have to worry about especially adhesive stabilizers or whatever. And then I use a basing spray. This brand I don't necessarily recommend. I just got it at Walmart and it was the only one they had. So I know I've seen some people say that this part gets clogged up a lot, and then the whole bottle's like useless. So I just make sure that I try to keep it clean. But you don't need a lot. I like barely spray it, just enough to just kind of make it a little bit tacky. So when you're placing your shirt on or your fabric on or whatever, it'll just stay in place better. So that way when you go to frame it, this, you don't have to worry if it doesn't get exactly on, like say it's like that, say it's like off a little bit, because this part's tacky and because this part's already been stabilized, you don't have to worry about it moving around. And I just kind of slide it into place, even with the fabric on. And I personally have not had any problems. You just watch your fabric, make sure your fabric hasn't stretched or moved or anything. But as long as that looks good, I just slide it into place. This is just how I do it. I hope this helps somebody. And maybe I'm doing it all wrong, but it works for me. So pull this apart. So right now I'm working on a quilt for my son. You know, sometimes our family needs to get some special things too, not just clients. So, and I had one square that was pretty blank, so I'm actually gonna do it upside down. And the thing I like about these frames too is sometimes I don't have to mark what I'm putting on because the frame is square. So as long as I line it up on the edge, I know it's straight, you know? But a lot of times I do mark the middle, and I probably will after this video go and make sure it's perfect, but just for your sake, okay? So, and the other thing I do, if I am marking the middle, I'll have it already marked, and I use painter's tape again. Hold on, I probably have some on the machine. I'm always sticking around. So I just have a crosshair on there. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter. This was just for a small design, so it was a shorter one. So let's just say I had it on there already, and I had it exactly where I wanted it. And then I use this ruler, and mine is so old, like half of the numbers are scratched off or whatever. But I got this with a kit with my cutting mat and a rotary cutter, actually is right here. But the whole kit was pretty reasonable, and I got it years ago. I do a lot of quilting. But what I like about this is because it's all clear and it's nice and big, I'll hold my hoop up to me, and then as long as I line it up against each edge, I don't know if you can see that, then I can line up and make sure, oh, okay, my crosshair is perfectly straight actually, and I just barely put it on. But as you can see, it like lines up perfectly, so I know it's straight, and it's straight in there. Oh, and this tape has been used a lot, it's not even sticky. So then, let's see, I feel like I'm doing this backwards. Yeah, I'm right-handed, so that is my right hand. I don't know. You guys, I don't even know what I'm doing. This is all moving around. So maybe this needed to be a little bit more tacky because my fabric is moving around a bit. So if you needed a little more tacky, you could spray a little more adhesive. But that's why I do it, because then when I've got this all set, and if it's already tacked down with that spray, I know it's not gonna move on me. And then I do kind of try to get it as straight as possible. But then see, okay, this fabric is moving a little, and again, that's probably because it doesn't have enough tacky stuff in it. Then I just make sure it's straight, okay? And then my tape would be, if it had stayed in place and not like rubbed off, it would be there, okay? And then I pop it on my frame. This is the frame it comes with. You just unscrew this bit. Hello, come on, there it goes. You pop this on, screw it back into place. Apologize for my camera angle. It's literally just sitting up against something because I don't normally do videos, but I know when I try to explain it to people, sometimes a video is just better and it just helps. So then you go and you pop it on your machine, and you're gonna line up your needle. So I would have my crosshair on there, right? So then I'd pull my needle down, and I would use my arrows on my machine, and I would line it up exactly with my crosshair so I know it's right where it needs to be, and then just do its little, trace it out. Sorry, I can't think of the word. Then you trace it out, and as long as you're not hitting the frame, you know it's like gonna fit in this frame, and you have the right frame, and you're good to go. So that's just like a super quick tutorial of how I use my magnetic 8-in-1 hoops or frames. They're not really hoops because they're not round. So my 8-in-1 frames or fast hoops from BAi.